Friends of Islam, this time the Islamic faith is back before you to share Islamic information. I hope it inspires your activities today, and don't forget to click the subscribe button and activate the bell button notifications so you don't miss the latest news from the Islamic Faith channel. Islam is the third largest religion practiced by the people of the United States. In the United States, the population that embraces Islam is estimated at around 3.3 million from various ages and groups. Now, Islam is growing rapidly in the United States. The United States, as a country with ethnic and cultural diversity, has become an increasingly open place for various religions, including Islam. Awareness and tolerance of other religions are also increasing. Many Muslim immigrants from countries such as the Middle East, South Asia, and Africa have settled in the United States and built vibrant communities. Their presence brings Islamic culture and practices to various parts of America. Increased access to information through the internet and social media has enabled people to learn more about Islam and address misconceptions. University campuses have also become frequent venues for discussion and study of Islam. Many Islamic organizations in the U.S. are active in charity, social service, and community service. These activities help introduce Islam in a positive way to the wider community. Islam in the United States has a long history. Islam grew rapidly in America as a result of the Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1965. The development of Islam in the United States is also evidenced by the establishment of the Islamic Institute in Chicago, which is a project of the Organization of the International Islamic Conference, based in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The development of Islam in the United States is also evidenced by the existence of several figures who embraced Islam, such as Malcolm and boxer Muhammad Ali. Malcolm and Muhammad Ali also helped preach Islam in the United States. With its various developments, Islam in the United States increasingly has a special place in local society. American Muslims are also considered capable of making a major contribution to the progress of development. According to experts, the Muslim community in America can generally be classified into three categories. The largest Muslim community in America is immigrants. Basically, Islam had entered America before the country was discovered by Columbus. A number of historians have found the fact that Muslim explorers had set foot and spread Islam on the continent more than half a millennium before Columbus. Historically, Muslims have contributed to science, art, and humanity on the American continent. The phenomenon in America itself is very interesting. It is very unreasonable for the George Bush government and American figures. The American people are flocking to Islam, the fastest growth of Islam that has never been preceded in American history. 8 million Muslims are now in America, and 20,000 Americans convert to Islam every year. The declaration of the Shahada to Islam continues to occur in American cities such as New York, Washington, Los Angeles, California, Chicago, Dallas, Texas, and others. Based on this fact, plus the wave of Islam entering outside America, such as in Europe and several other countries, several American figures have stated their conclusions. The Population Reference Bureau USA Today itself concluded, Muslims are the world's fastest growing group. Hillary Rodham Sinton, wife of former President Clinton, as quoted by the Los Angeles Times, said, Islam is the fastest growing religion in America. Then Geraldine Baum revealed, Islam is the fastest growing religion in the country. Newsday religion writer Newsday. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the United States, said Ariel Goldman, as quoted by the New York Times. But apparently Islam developed in its own way. Islam breaks the common sense logic of modern humans. How could a group of people be so reckless as to kill many innocent people in the name of religion? But not long after the event, thousands of people flocked to declare themselves to have converted to the religion and found peace in it. 9/11 has functioned as an icon that produces an illogical and surprising historical current. In addition to the 20,000 Americans converting to Islam every year after the event, thousands of others from non-American countries, Europe, China, Korea, Japan, etc., also made the same decision to convert to Islam. How can this current be explained? As far as I know, the answer is nothing in social movement theories because this phenomenon is an anomaly. Therefore, this phenomenon can only be explained by the hand of God theory. From the many interviews conducted by American, European, and Middle Eastern television, with those who converted to Islam or video blogs that explain the motivations of these new converters to convert to Islam. They describe a diverse configuration of backgrounds. First, because their previous secular life, directionless, had no purpose, living only money, music, and fun. That lifestyle created aridity and restlessness of the soul. They felt the chaos of life, unlike the Muslims they knew. In the hustle and bustle of the modern world and abundant material facilities, many of them felt emptiness and unhappiness. When they found Islam from reading the Quran, from books or the lives of their Muslim friends who were religious in their daily lives, they easily converted to Islam. Second, feeling the calm, peace, and happiness that he never felt in his previous religion, namely Christianity. In Islam, they feel the relationship with God is direct and close. Some devout Christians, even as church priests, admit it when interviewed on television. Many American Muslim women have concluded that Islam really protects and values women. In other words, women in Islam are honored and their position is highly respected. Although they do not agree with polygamy, they see the position of women as highly respected in Islam compared to modern Western civilization. An American female convert named Tanya felt that her life was chaotic and directionless in her freedom in America. She could do anything she wanted for pleasures such as sex, drugs, free party, and other having fun, but she felt that it was actually detrimental and degrading to women. After studying Islam, she initially felt inferior. After knowing how Islam treats women, she said, "Women in Islam are so honored. This is a nice religion, not for people like me. Women in Islam are so respected. This is a beautiful and noble religion, not for people like me," she said. She converted to Islam after studying it for several months from her Muslim friends. The development of Islam in the Western world is actually more perspective because they are accustomed to thinking openly. In American families, the choice of religion is done freely and independently. Many parents support their children to become Muslims as long as it is their free and independent choice. They easily convert to Islam when they find the truth there. This development will certainly have a significant impact on the relationship between Islam and the West, Christianity, which has experienced historical tension for centuries. With the rapid development of Muslims in America, Europe, and other developed countries, it will have a significant impact on several things. First, Western society will be closer and more familiar with Islam through Muslims in the West itself. They will bridge the misunderstanding that always occurs towards Islam and Muslims. Western society's dislike of Islam is more due to the ignorance of Islam, and this will decrease. Muslims in the West will become effective communicators and reliable ambassadors to explain and show the true face of Islam there. Through them, the fate of Muslims outside the West will be voiced, and the suffering of Muslim countries due to the domination of the West, whose policies are often unjust, will be reduced. Second, as a result of the teachings of Islam being increasingly socialized in the West and the political voice of Muslims becoming stronger, the bridge for creating mutual understanding and comprehension will be more conducive and stronger. Islam and the West will hopefully enter into a new historical equilibrium that is more just, more fair, and more democratic. When comes the help of Allah and victory, and you will see people entering into the religion of Allah in droves. Recently, a video upload by the official Instagram account of the Germantown Mosque, Town Masjid Official, has attracted public attention, as well as netizens on social media. This is because there are 187 United States citizens who have decided to become Muslims, aka all of them have chosen to convert. They, consisting of both men and women, were seen reciting the 2 sentences of the Shahada at the Germantown Mosque in the United States in front of a bearded man. Furthermore, in the caption of the upload, it is known that there were at least dozens of people who said the Shahada sentence. According to reports, the action took place during the month of Ramadan some time ago, where the change of religion occurred at a holy moment for Muslims in various parts of the world. For information, the Muslim population in the U.S. has increased in the last 100 years, with much of this growth driven by immigrants. Currently, many people from all over the world, especially Europe, are converting to Islam. This phenomenon also occurred at the Germantown Mosque in Philadelphia, America. In the last 7 days, 187 people have recited the Shahada at this mosque. The Germantown Mosque is quite active in preaching Islam by spreading goodness on the streets, educating the community and providing examples, or simply showing Islamic morals in the surrounding environment. G-Town Mosque also provides consultation services, which are directly answered by a qualified sheikh or ustad and provide free books about Islam. According to experts, the Muslim community in America can generally be classified into 3 categories. The largest Muslim community in America is immigrants. The second largest community is part of the African American Muslim population, while the smallest community is the native community who converted, most of whom are white. The 3 Muslim communities above are the most important elements of Muslim society in America. As mentioned earlier, that Islam, as a universal religion, it entered and developed in America as one of the consequences of international migration. In America, migration carried out by Muslims is known through several waves, including the first wave in 1875 and 1912. They speak Arabic in other countries that speak Arabic, such as Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and Palestine, then during the Ottoman government, and then followed by the next wave after the World War. Meanwhile, Karen Leonard divides the periodization of the Muslim migration wave to America into 5 waves. First, between 1875 and 1912, which was mostly carried out by uneducated Arab men. Second, from 1918 to 1922, mostly also carried out by Arabs as in the first wave, although there were some urban residents. Third, from 1930 to 1938, carried out mainly by relatives of previous immigrants. Fourth, from 1947 to 1960, carried out by Muslims, not only from Arab or Middle Eastern origins, but also from South Asia, the Soviet Union, Western Europe, and other places. Most of this wave were urban elites who were pursuing higher education and seeking better job opportunities, and some of them were refugees. Finally, from 1967 to the present, it was carried out by highly educated professionals, as well as skilled and semi-skilled workers. The first Muslim immigrants, regardless of whether they were Shia or Sunni, who came to America came from Lebanon and Arabic-speaking countries. Specifically regarding Shia, as Liaquat Takim notes, between 1875 and 1912, namely the 1880s, the Shia community came to America. They came from Syria and settled in Michigan. At the same time, immigrants from the Shia community also came from parts of the Islamic world, including India and Iran. In 1990 and 1914, several hundred families with various religious backgrounds came from the Middle East. Most of them were Lebanese Shia. Then they lived in Detroit, working at the Ford Motor Company. Immigrants from Lebanon continued to come from 1918 to 1922. By 1940, there were 20 Sunni and Shia families living in Detroit. This wave of Lebanese immigrants apparently came not only from the Shia and Sunni communities, so that cooperation occurred between them throughout the 1930s by forming the Hashemite Club. Along with the passage of time, Islam also developed in America. This development occurred in addition to the continuous migration, but also due to the birth of generations of Muslim families born in America, and added to the large number of African American communities who converted to Islam, as well as a few white Americans who converted to Islam. Such conditions, furthermore, Muslims, in order to protect their interests, established houses, schools, mosques, and other institutions as centers of communication between fellow Muslims. According to a statement, the number of mosques in America at the end of 1992 was 2,300 mosques spread across 300 cities in America. Among the 2,300 mosques, 256 mosques and 2 million souls from the total number of American Muslims in 1995, as many as 9.6 million souls, are claimed to be the Shia community. Perhaps until now, the total number of Muslims in America is approximately 10 million souls. The rapid development of Islam in America, according to Lang, originated from 2 turbulent equal rights campaigns during the 1960s, namely the struggle for civil rights by African Americans in America and the struggle for economic and technological equality with the West and the Middle East. And this is seen from the themes of religious movements, Islam, in the Black Muslim community, not far from issues of race, freedom, discrimination, justice, and welfare. The themes above are often related to the idea of hope. Broadly speaking, Muslim organizations in America can be grouped into three categories. First, organizations formed by African American Islam. Second, organizations formed by Muslims in America. Third, organizations formed by American Muslims. The organization formed by African American Islam was the first to be formed. From 1913 to 1962, there were 6 organizations formed by African American Islam, including Moorish Science Temple, founded in 1913 by Noble Drew Ali on the East Coast Midwest. Ahmadiyya, founded in 1920 by missionaries or preachers from India and Pakistan, this organization was the first to publish an English-language Muslim newspaper in America in 1921. The members of this organization were dominated by African Americans during the 1970s, then followed by people from Pakistan. This organization is located on the East Coast Midwest. Nation of Islam, founded in 1930 by Wallace Fard Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad until 1975, the leadership of this organization was continued by Warith Deen Muhammad, son of Elijah Muhammad, located in Detroit, Chicago. In the 1980s, this organization was renamed by Warith Deen Muhammad to the American Muslim Mission. The American Muslim Mission, as mentioned above, has a religious belief that is Orthodox Sunni, leaving the teachings of Elijah Muhammad so that this causes division. In 1981, Louis Farrakhan left and led his subordinates while still preserving the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Muslim American Community. This organization is a new name for the Muslim American Mission in the 1990s. In 2000, this organization, MAC, successfully restated or reconciled with Farrakhan's followers. This organization was founded by Warith Deen Muhammad. Darul Islam in 1961 to 1983. This organization was founded by part of the African American Sunni community. In 1983, this organization changed its name to Fukre, which has a tendency towards Sufi teachings originating from South Asia. Meanwhile, the organizations founded by Muslims in the United States from 1953 to 1982 are as follows. FIA, Federation of Islamic Association, was founded in 1953 by immigrants from Lebanon. MSA, Muslim Student Association, was founded by Muslim students throughout America in 1963. ICNA, Islamic Circle of North American, was founded in 1971 by partisans of the Jama'at al-Khair Party, Pakistan branch in New York. ISANA, Islamic Society of North American, was founded in 1982 by the North American Muslim community. After they left the MSA, this organization has its center in Plainfield, Indiana. Meanwhile, organizations founded by American Muslims from 1989-1990 include 5. AMA, American Muslim Alliance, was founded in 1989 by Agha Saeed, a political scientist in Fremont, California. ANMC, American Muslim Council, was founded in 1990 in Washington, D.C. MPAS, Muslim Public Affairs Council, was founded in the 1990s in Los Angeles. CAIR, Council on American Islamic Relations, was founded in the 1990s in Washington, D.C. 5. AMPCC, American Muslim Political Coordinating Council, was founded in the 1990s in Youngstown, Ohio. As a new and relatively new religion, Islam in America is a religion with relatively few followers, only 2% of the total American population. So followers of Islam in America are classified as a minority. Therefore, as a minority, like it or not, they certainly have challenges, both internal and external. According to Alwi Shihab, the main and most special challenge of the Muslim community in America is the issue of identity. One way to show one's identity in American society is an effort to correct the image that has been depicted in the perception of the majority of Americans created by Orientalists and missionaries of the past. In addition, the Muslim community feels compelled to prove that the assumption attached to them as a religious community that does not accept the concept of pluralism in America is an unfounded assumption. In such conditions, Muslim scholars are aware that in order to survive and maintain their identity in the midst of this multicultural and religious society, they must be ready to reinterpret the classical Islamic tradition and must be wise in actualizing pluralistic theology that refers to peaceful and harmonious coexistence with other communities within the framework of America's new sociopolitical order. Behind the minority and identity issues that are still being fought for, then what is the future of Muslims in America? Will Islam survive and thrive, or will it be abandoned and become just a memory as happened in Spain? Then what should Muslims do there? To answer all that, we need to look at the reality of the Muslim community there. If we look and return to points B and C in this paper, it will be seen that Islam in America is still affiliated with branches, such as Sunni, Shia, African American, and so on, along with their respective tendencies. The relationship between one and the other sometimes causes tension. This then makes each group excel itself. If it continues to happen, then there will be a minority group within a religious minority, borrowing Aleph Theria Wasim's notes. The Muslim community in America is growing in number, and several thousand mosques have been established. But it is not at all clear that Islam will grow into a significant social and spiritual force in America over the next century. As the challenges facing Muslims there grow in number and complexity, this picture may well come to pass. And it is also possible that Islam in America will one day become a very decisive force. Today's Muslim Americans must emerge as adults who have a strong commitment to Islam. Second, the Muslim community must remain united and not divided into sects. Third, the American Muslim community must produce its own ulama who are able to respond effectively to problems that have never been encountered before and will surely arise. Subcultural tendencies within the American Muslim community. Lack of tolerance among different schools of Islamic thought. Dominance of Middle Eastern and Arab traits that are cultural and have no religious significance. Traditional Muslim attitudes toward women that violate Quranic norms, often resulting in Muslim women feeling unwelcome in mosques. Over-focus on non-essential and marginal aspects of the Islamic way of life, rather than seeking general ethical and spiritual lessons from the Prophet's tradition. Systematic distrust of the contributions of Western converts by native Muslims. In large cities such as New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, there are large Muslim communities with many mosques, community centers, and Islamic schools. Mosques serve not only as places of worship, but also as centers of social and educational activities. Muslims in the United States are involved in a variety of professions and industries. They actively participate in society, working in the health, education, technology, and business sectors. There are also Muslim entrepreneurs who own their own businesses. American Muslims celebrate Islamic holidays such as Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, as well as the month of Ramadan in ways similar to those in other countries. Although these celebrations often involve special arrangements to accommodate work and school schedules. Many Muslim families strive to maintain their cultural and religious identity while integrating into American society. They often send their children to Islamic schools or ensure religious education at home. Muslims in the U.S. sometimes face challenges, including stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination. Many communities are active in efforts to address these issues through interfaith dialogue, education, and advocacy. Many Muslim organizations are involved in charitable, social, and political activities to support community rights and address social issues. They are also often involved in interfaith projects to build understanding and cooperation between communities. Predictions about which religion will become the largest in the future involve many complex factors and are difficult to pinpoint. Islam is currently one of the fastest growing religions in the United States, but there are a few things to consider. Islam is a rapidly growing religion globally, including in the United States, thanks to immigration, conversions, and population growth. However, despite the growing Muslim population, Christianity is still the majority religion in the United States. Demographic and social changes can affect the religious landscape. Factors such as birth rates, immigration, and conversions can affect the growth of a particular religious community. The United States is a country with great religious diversity. While the number of Muslims is increasing, the country also has strong and growing communities of other faiths. Overall, despite the growth trend, predicting that Islam will become the #1 religion in the United States in the near future is speculative. Changes in the religious landscape depend on many factors that are difficult to predict. From this video, we hope we can inform you that the Muslim community in America is not free from internal and external issues that surround it. And no less important is the issue of identity, both concerning race and culture, which is still attached to Muslims in America. In other words, operationally, how can American Muslims display their own Islamic identity free from issues of race, ethnicity, and other social groups in a multicultural and religious society like America? Friends of Islamic faith, I hope this video is useful. I hope it inspires your activities today, and see you in the next videos.